Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the statutory meeting of Council elected 2024. I'm Ken Ross, and I'll be officiating for the first part of this procedure this morning up until we elect the mayors and the deputy mayor. So if I can just go through the preliminaries before we get to the business. So this meeting is being live streamed and or recorded for on-demand viewing via Council's webpage. Attendance at the meeting is to be taken as consent by a person to their image and or voice being webcast. All speakers should refrain from making any defamatory comments or releasing personal information about another individual without their consent. Council accepts no liability for any damage that may result from defamatory comments made by persons attending meetings. All liability will rest with the individuals who made the comments. The meeting must not be recorded by others without prior written consent to the Council in accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice. Councillors and staff are obligated to declare conflicts of interest as required under the Local Government Act 1993 and Council's adopted Code of Conduct. Councillors are reminded of their oath of office yet to be taken, whereby they have declared and affirmed that they will undertake the duties of the office of Council in the best interest of the people of the Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council. For those ably bodied, I'd ask you to be upstanding for a prayer and acknowledgement of country. Please bless us with courage to work together as a united, supportive and resilient team, bound by a shared sense of purpose and a commitment to excellence. May our teamwork reflect your boundless love, grace and wisdom. Help us to communicate openly, listen attentively and value each other's perspectives. I'd like to pay my respect and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting and pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. Item 9.1 on the agenda, councillors, is that we will take an oath of office for the position of councillor for Wentworth Shire Council. I'll do it in alphabetical order. So the first one will be Councillor Armstrong. What I'd ask is that each councillor stand, read from their presented spiel, which is on the Bible, if they so desire. Mr. Councillor Armstrong's brought his own. Thank you. And then we'll come forward and yourselves as councillor and myself as general manager will sign. Thank you.
Perfect. I, John Alec Armstrong, swear that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment. Congratulations. I'll do it in total.
Sign that one.
You know, I'll do this one.
Thank you. Okay, one for you. I now call on Councillor Crisp.
I, Peter Lawrence Crisp, swear that I will undertake the duties of the officer of council in the interests of the people of the Shire, Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment.
Thank you. Now call on Councillor Elstone.
Got that right. I, Timothy Elstone, swear that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment. Nice.
Now call on Councillor Evans.
I, Cecil Gregory Evans, swear that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment.
Did you do two? Did you have two?
Oh, sorry. That's the other one.
That's it. Oh, sorry, this is yours.
I'm not last anymore.
No. Thank you. I now call on Councillor Linklater.
I, Daniel James Linklater, swear that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment.
Congratulations.
Thank you, General Manager. Thank you.
Now, Councillor Nichols, if you could, please.
I, Hazel Susan Nichols, swear that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of the Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment. Thank you.
Call on Councillor Rodder, please.
I, Joanne Margaret Rodder, swear that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Last but not least, Councillor Starrick.
I, Jodie Marie Starrick, swear that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Wentworth Shire and the Wentworth Shire Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Just put that bit out. What did we do here?
Councillors, for completeness, I'll just advise that Councillor Weeding undertook his oath on Tuesday afternoon, and that completes all councillors to be sworn in at Wentworth Shire Council 2024. Thank you. Councillors, we now move on to item 9.2, is the election of Mayor. I have one written nomination for the position of Mayor. If there's no further nominations, I'll just read that as is. Nomination for Mayor is Councillor Linklater, put forward by Councillors Elstone and Nichols and duly signed by Councillor Linklater. There being only one nominee, I declare that Councillor Linklater be Mayor of Wentworth Shire Council. Congratulations. In the same line, for the position of Deputy Mayor, I only have one written nomination, and that is for Councillor Crisp, again, nominated by Councillors Elstone and Nichols. There being only one in nomination, no need for a ballot, and I declare Councillor Crisp Deputy Mayor. Councillors, I'll now ask Mayor Linklater to come forward and chair the remainder of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Ross.
Thank you, General Manager. Thank you, councillors. If you'll just indulge me for 30 seconds. Firstly, congratulations to all of you for being elected by the community as the community representatives and leaders. It's a very exciting day for all of us to be sworn in and to take the oath to serve our community to the best of our abilities. I just want to thank and acknowledge all those in our respective corners who support us to do our job to the best that we can. Thank you for your support for the role of Mayor. It's a humbling and privileged role to take on. Congratulations to Councillor Crisp as Deputy. Look forward to a close working relationship, and also with our General Manager and the staff. Really looking forward to the collegiate way that we will work together to advance our community. We have a fairly ambitious agenda. There's lots to attend to and lots that we're going to try and achieve in the next 4 years of this council term. So thank you to everybody. And just a quick mention, we're obviously having our first meeting in this fantastically renovated new building, an amazing facility for our staff and for the community and tourists. It's just an amazing building, and credit to Ken and all those who had involvement in the design. I think it's amazing. And just thank you to the staff for their patience. I know it's a big thing to move after 30 or 40 years into a new building, and obviously they're just bedding down into the new arrangement. So that is wonderful, and really looking forward to kicking into gear and getting on with our job, which is a big job ahead. So thank you very much. Okay, we have some business to attend to. Oh, Susan, could you please pass those goggles? Thank you. No, just the lenses.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll deal with item 9.3, delegations to Mayor and General Manager. Now, is that for noting?
That should be resolved.
Sorry, yeah, I'm on the right page. Item 9.3, statutory meeting item, delegations to Mayor and General Manager. We have a recommendation, if someone would like to move it. Thank you, Councillor Rodder. Seconded, Councillor Elstone. All those in favour? Thank you. That is carried unanimously. Item 9.4, using countbacks to fill casual vacancies. Councillor Nichols has moved the recommendation and seconded by Councillor Crisp.
I would like to speak against the recommendation. So given we have the opportunity to have a by-election or a count, I would suggest that councillors consider to go to by-election rather than count back.
Thank you, Councillor Rodder. So as it mentions, this decision is for an 18-month period, and then after that it would be a by-election if such a circumstance arose. Would anyone like to speak?
I guess I have one question for the General Manager. Probably, what's the difference in the cost?
We did have a by-election in the last term of council, and that was in the vicinity of 16 to 18,000. The general
That wasn't a by-election.
a count back. Sorry, thank you. And the status quo of the by-election is under the normal banner of our just general election, which is in the vicinity of $70,000 or $80,000.
Now that would cost for a by-election. No, I'm definitely for the motion in that case, because it's a big difference, 50 odd thousand just for if it was in the first 18 months.
Okay, thank you. Would the mover like to speak for the recommendation?
Yes, I looked at the same thing along the lines and thought that even with the by-election and how long it took this council to be sworn in, there was also going to be a time factor. So that was something I wasn't prepared to hang around with. So I think that the sensible way to go is to is what the recommendation states.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak against the motion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 9.5, council meeting dates and time. I'll ask for somebody to move a recommendation.
Time in the morning with the sun coming in.
Councillor Crisp.
I'd like to move that council meet at 4 p.m. on the third Wednesday
Of the month?
of the month, or as required.
I'll second that motion.
Is that for the pre-meeting briefing or for the
That's the meeting.
or the meeting time?
But I
Meeting time we're only talking about at the moment.
That's the ordinary council.
right. Good point, Joe.
Yeah. Is that
I
pre-meeting
I-
briefing?
I was envisaging, so I may have to amend my motion or with the.
Hasn't been seconded yet, so carry on.
I was envisaging so that the pre-meeting briefing could be from 4 to 5. We could then go to a council meeting at around 5, and then be finished at a time that would allow us to have dinner if we so wished at the end of proceedings.
So 5 p.m. council meetings.
Yeah, and
We can work backwards from there.
Yeah.
Is the motion seconded? Councillor Nichols. Would anyone like to speak for the motion? Anyone against? Councillor Rodder.
Thank you. So the meeting schedule that we had in the last term of council was seemed to be quite conducive to people who have roles outside of being a councillor, to allow pre-meeting briefings to be held and then council meetings in the evening with a dinner break in the middle.
Understood. I think there's probably a good opportunity to review the starting time so that we're not pushing so late into some of the evenings. Occasionally we'd have meetings running past 10 o'clock, which is not ideal for anybody, particularly staff who've started their workday early. But take your point, most of us have other commitments outside of council as well. So look, for what it's worth, I'm supportive of a 5 p.m. start because I think it strikes a better balance than commencing the meeting at 7 p.m. That's my 2 bobs worth. Would anyone like to speak for the motion as it stands? Councillor Crisp.
And perhaps to reflect on the past term to Councillor Rodder. We didn't have a briefing every meeting time, so it's not. It will allow a little flexibility there, that there may well be sometimes, if we're not seeking or think of briefings are necessary, that we'll start at 5. But
My recollection is a little different, Councillor Crisp, because I been meeting briefing prior to every meeting.
All right. Anyone else wish to speak against the motion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Thank you. That is carried. So that is that ordinary meetings of council will be the third Wednesday of each month, commencing at 5 p.m.
On that same item, if you could, Mr. Mayor. So that's item 1. If we can go through 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh yes, I beg your pardon. So item 2.
2, 3 and 5 still need to be addressed. The rest are fine.
Yes. So also the October, this month's meeting will need to address that, which won't be the third Wednesday. It will be the proposed for the 30th of this month. So
Let's start with the June 25 be held at 5 p.m. on the last Wednesday of June. I think that'll be.
you need these moved and seconded individually.
So items 2 and 3, I think we could deal with those together if someone wants to move item 2 and 3.
So move, Mr. Mayor, with
Councillor Elstone?
the January meeting will not be held.
Yes, will not be held. Understood.
Second that.
Councillor Armstrong is seconding the motion. Does anyone wish to speak for the motion? Anyone wish to speak against the motion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Councillor Rodder is against. Thank you. That motion is carried. We'll now deal with section 5. 4 is dealt with. 5, pre-meeting briefings will or will not be held. Would someone like to move a motion? What would you like to move, Councillor Nichols? Councillor Nichols has moved that the pre-meeting briefings will commence at 4 o'clock. Now, sorry, yeah, that's your motion. I'm just querying as in real time whether that's enough time for.
Finish by 5. Well, if we're going to start our council meetings, anything can be carried out.
Okay, so Councillor Nichols has moved that we start those meetings at 4 o'clock. Is that motion seconded? Councillor Crisp, anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Councillor Rodder and Councillor Armstrong against. The motion is carried. We'll just add in item 6 if someone wishes to move, unless we deal with this.
I'll move that the October 2024 meeting is October the 30th at 4 p.m.
Thank you, Councillor Elstone. Is that seconded? Councillor Armstrong. Those in favour? Those against? Councillor.
You can put me for that one.
That is carried unanimously. Okay, that concludes item 9.5. Thank you. Item 9.6, internal committee representations. So we just tick through. Now, do we typically move and second each?
Try and get consensus.
Try and get some consensus, and then where it gets sticky, we'll go to a vote. All right, let's deal with it in order. The Internal Audit and Risk Committee, do I have somebody to nominate for that committee?
I'll nominate someone. Oh, you've done.
Too late.
That's next. That's next. Sorry, just working off the. Sorry. Yeah.
The agenda item, Councillor Nichols, sorry.
Okay, we have a nomination for Councillor Starrick. to accept.
Yes.
And I believe we only need one.
Only allowed one, I think. You only allowed one.
Okay, anyone have any alternative ideas to that?
No, I think we should just vote, put it there.
We'll try and vote at the end if we can, unless we have any problems. Okay. The next one, Floodplain Risk Management Committee. Someone
To stay on it, if councillors want.
So, Councillor Elstone. So I think the Mayor sits on that committee. Councillor Elstone and
Myself was.
Councillor Nichols.
Nichols.
Does anybody else wish to talk to that?
I'm happy to put my hand up for that one if required. Yeah.
All right, Councillor Evans. Is there any restriction on council delegates on that committee? Okay, so we have Mayor plus Councillors Elstone, Nichols and Evans. Thank you. Heritage and Advisory Committee. Okay. We will take 2 councillors for this and an alternate. So you'd like to... So Councillor Nichols has expressed an interest in that. Any other councillors have an interest in that committee? Councillor Evans? Yep, thank you. Would someone like to put their hand up to be an alternate for that committee?
Sure.
Councillor Armstrong, alternate. Okay. We'll move into the user groups. James King Park user group. Now, I'm not sure that this was utilised last term of council, but it's probably worth keeping on the books for some. Okay, Councillor Roddy, you would like to be the council delegate on that committee. Thank you. Is anybody else wish to?
Interested.
Councillor Starrick and Councillor Starrick.
Not one single name.
Okay, well,
It's really a name.
Last time, so.
well, no worries. We'll take 2. That's good. George Gordon Oval User Group. Councillor Crisp. Councillor Elstone.
And I'll also nominate Councillor Weeding. He indicated.
Oh yes, of course.
Sit on that one, yes.
I want to acknowledge Councillor Weeding in my earlier remarks, but catch up with him. Okay, we have 3 for George Gordon Oval. That's good. Caramar Drive, Councillors Armstrong, Rodder, and I think I'm allowed to attend if I.
Yeah.
You can go to anyone.
So we had 3.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wentworth Showgrounds User Group.
Just myself.
Councillor Nichols, you
Yes.
wish to stay on that committee? Any other councillors from this end?
Yeah.
Councillor,
I can hand up for that one.
yep. Councillor Evans and Councillor Weeding. Did you speak to him about that?
Yeah, well, can we leave it open for him? We had a
Maybe go the other way.
conflicting interests.
Because Councillor Weeding
Yes.
is already a member of the user group by way of his association with
But I don't think
True.
they're actually a member of the user group.
I remember.
He's been dragged into it, so only over the park and that type of thing. So, can we possibly just leave that open till he's on deck and we can talk to him? We've got 2, so
Usually have an alternate, so that's
Just put a motion to alter the membership of a committee, I suppose.
add him to it if it goes that way.
So as it stands right now, we have Councillor Evans and Councillor Nichols. Okay, thank you. The Wentworth Sporting Precinct User Group.
Councillor Weeding indicated to me then an interest. I think you were there at the time, Tim.
Yes.
All right, we'll have him nominated for that.
we had 2 last time.
Anyone else?
I can't because I'm the president at this stage. Greg, would you be interested in that?
The
Sporting.
sporting, yeah. Yeah, I can.
I wasn't finished.
Because you're descended, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Councillor Evans and Councillor Leading, thank you. The Pooncarie Sporting Reserve User Group. Councillor Rodder, thank you.
Oh,
And that's the same.
Ken and I will also thank Councillor Rodder for covering the last 6 months of the meetings that I couldn't get to. Much appreciated, and we'll do, hopefully, be more participative, if that's a word.
I was able to attend one, so I'll accept your thanks on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so Councillor Rodder, Councillor Elstone. Anybody else wish to be an alternate? Okay, moving on. That concludes the internal committee representation. So if I could have a mover to accept those. Councillor Armstrong, seconded Councillor Crisp. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. And we'll just noted the Councillor Weeding issue. Okay. External committees, item 9.7, review of external committees. We'll do the same scenario and work through in order of as printed on the table. So Australian Inland Botanic Gardens, we have interest from Councillor Starrick and Councillor Rodder. Thank you. Anyone else have an interest?
I'll take it. Yeah, do we still have two there, or do we have one?
Now, just run me through, those familiar with that committee. We have two delegates. One attends the meeting and one is an alternate, or
That was the premise. Yeah, so that was never really clarified, because when Councillor McAllister was elected to that, to be that representative, it wasn't actually nominated that she was an alternate.
okay. So the main concept here is that if we have 2 or 10 delegates, it's one vote.
One vote.
Thank you. The Barkingie Indigenous Land Use Agreement Working Group, and that is prescribed to the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and an additional councillor.
Councillor Stone was there before.
Yeah, happy to take the experience.
Second Kim.
Okay. Bottle Bend Reserve Land Manager, Councillor Armstrong. And we can have an alternate on that committee if anyone is interested. I'm happy to be an alternate if there's no other takers. Okay. The Bushfire Management Committee.
John, yes,
Tim
that would be
Yeah.
John's in supporting John's nomination. John is a member of Gold Blue Fire Service, so he's a volunteer. So if that's not a conflict of interest, I think we could have John there.
John, would you consider yourself to have a conflict?
I checked with Steve Walker, and he doesn't consider it a conflict because so within the RFS, it's only the district staff and the group captain who actually have any input into that. So no other volunteer. So he doesn't consider it a conflict of interest on their behalf.
All right. Well, Councillor Armstrong has indicated he'd like to be the nominated representative, and we can also take an alternate. Councillor Nichols.
No, well, Tim and I were the two on it. If Tim's interested, he can go with it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be alternate.
Okay, Councillor Stone. Thank you. Club grants, that's straightforward. Country Mayors Association, also straightforward. Community Safety Precinct meeting. Now, I've never heard of that one. Of course, I should have.
Councillor Cooper was the person that was on that. I might have voted.
So it's normally just where the police bring us together and talk about crime stats and other bits and pieces like
I'd be happy to sit on that if unless there's somebody else, because there's been some recent requests for establishing neighbourhood watch or things like that. Some elevated crime stats just of late, so that's probably something I'd like to have the conversation appropriate time. Is there anybody else wish to?
Oh, no, go green.
Happy to be an alternate.
Right. Thanks, Councillor Evans. Alternate. The Far West JO now.
It's Mayor and Deputy.
We'll leave that one. Joint Regional Planning Panel. We had Councillor Crisp and Councillor Nichols last time.
Yeah, I'm still happy to do that.
What's the rules now, Mr. GM?
As per the last time we had
Most of those filthy real estate agents and land developers.
under the circumstances, Councillor Elstone, I suggest we leave the two nominees in their positions.
Okay.
There were no meetings anyway, so.
You didn't get called, thank goodness.
We'll bang it.
The Menindee Lakes Sidlam Stakeholder Advisory Group.
I'm interested in that.
Councillor Nichols has expressed an interest in that,
Because it was
and Councillor Elstone, and Councillor Armstrong. Now, is there any reason why we shouldn't have the three?
It hasn't actually met for quite some considerable amount of time since the blow up, so
So Councillor
probably wouldn't
Armstrong.
matter if it's all 8 of us, 9 of us.
Right. So Councillor Armstrong has a strong interest in water
Yep.
policy and issues as well. So okay, we'll have the three there. Thank you. Murray-Darling Association Region 4. So I'll indicate that I'm interested to continue on that committee. Councillor Nichols,
And Elstone as well.
Councillor Elstone, are you still interested?
Yes.
Is there any other interest that we need to talk through on that one? It's obviously still it's an ongoing topical conversation. I would view this, to be honest, as something where anyone really can participate. It's just that
Yeah, you might only have one vote, but you can be part of the meeting, so, and that vote would be yours. So in terms of Region 4, I don't think it'd matter. We've generally, out of Region 4, had the most interest anyway with Strammers.
Well, that's right, and there've typically only been one representative from Broken Hill, so I don't know whether that will change.
Yeah,
And also Mildura is probably
Councillor Hickey, I believe.
state of flux as well. So
So MD, Mayoral.
Possibly need to look at the last 10 years, the minutes that have gone forward, or the motions that have gone forward for work to be done, and see how many have been done.
That's an ongoing annual question.
It is, yeah.
What results do you get?
Results are fairly.
all right, so we
And then I suppose you have to be cautious that, if you end up with 4 or 5 and you all want to go to the conference, if it's like last time it was in Toowoomba, it gets pretty costly, so
yeah.
maybe everyone welcome, but a limited number, maximum of 3 go to the conference or whatever.
Yeah, particularly when they're studying the water distribution issues in northern Scotland.
Yeah,
That's quite expensive.
I think that's all.
So we have the Mayor, Councillor Elstone, Councillor Nichols and Councillor Evans at this stage. Correct? Thank you. Public Libraries New South Wales.
Yeah.
I'd be interested. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Councillor Starrick?
Yeah, I was on that. You can have it, Jody. It's only a conference that's held via video, so they bring you through.
Try and have the conference here. Probably the best library in the country.
Oh, what a fine library we have.
The New South Wales Library representatives walked through the site 2 weeks ago, and that was obviously mentioned to them. Thanks, Councillor Elstone.
Excellent. Wentworth Regional Tourism. Councillor Rodder, wish to maintain your role there? Anyone else have an interest?
I can come in there if we need a second.
Yep. So, a second representative or an alternate? Alternate. Okay. Alternate. Councillor Evans. Thank you.
Yeah.
The WISIC, we had Councillor McAllister and Councillor Rodder last time. Councillor Armstrong and Councillor Rodder are indicating their interest. Okay. Thank you. Wentworth Shire Liquor Accord Committee. Councillor Nichols and Councillor Beaumont was the alternate last time. Councillor Nichols wishes to stay. Could I have an alternate, please?
What about Michael? We're not giving him anything. He's out in the
With his knowledge of the clubs, it might be.
That would be, yep, good idea. Well, do you want to?
In conflict though, as a board member of the Cumula Club?
They usually what they go through is what's happening around the place, and it's a matter of just not a lot of heavy decisions made on.
Put him in, and if it turns out to be a conflict, you can always change it.
Sure. All right. Thank you. Now, the Western Division group of councils. So we have the Mayor and two other councillors. Councillor Crisp, thank you. That typically involves a bit of travel, being such a big area of the state. So I'll just indicate that at the outset.
Tim and I.
I'm happy to remain part unless someone wants to. Else. Used to be the rep, didn't
Yeah, I'd like to be in there if I could.
Yep, righto.
If it's need be, that's all.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, because of the travel involved, we normally have to divvy it around anyway. So unless there's any reason why we can't, I'm happy to have myself, Councillors Crisp, Elstone and Evans. Because did you serve on the executive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, is everyone happy with that? And finally, this one, I think, the Willandra Lakes Region World Heritage Advisory Committee, we wait for an invitation.
It's a ministerial appointment.
Yeah.
Councillor Nichols is always pretty keen on it.
Well, I was keen on it, but 3 times I've gone up and 3 times I've been knocked back. They've gone for someone younger.
So what's the process there? Do we indicate somebody who's prepared to do it, or do we just wait?
There's been a resignation from Councillor McAllister. That's duly noted in the process, okay. And they'll seek further nominations. There's actually a joint local government representative between us and Mayoral Council, so maybe even someone from Mayoral might seek that appointment.
As I recall, it took some time for this to occur, so I wouldn't be surprised if in 6 months we still hadn't been through the process.
Sure. All right. Having said all that, I'll seek a mover. Councillor Armstrong. Seconder, Councillor Elstone. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. That concludes our statutory meeting items. I'll move along to the conclusion of the meeting and thank everybody present today. Thank you to those in the gallery who've come to this exciting morning, and advise that the next meeting will be at 4 p.m. on the 30th of October. I guess we'll have the briefing.
Got an extra.
Oh yes, we do. We have an extraordinary meeting next Tuesday at 4 p.m. and our next ordinary meeting the 30th of October 2024. Thank you very much. And
just before we do close, I'd like to indicate that it is my intention to attend the meeting on Tuesday, but I will be travelling on that day, so I will keep you informed.
Thank you. Councillor Rodder.
I'll need to join in online. I won't be available to attend in person.
Okay, that's fine. Does anyone wish to indicate an apology at this point, just while we're going, or seek leave of absence, I should say, from that meeting? No? Okay. Councillor Nichols.
Just before we go, can I raise a point? Just in relation to Tuesday's meeting, it's been past practice that the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor have signed the management statements that have to go into the annual financials, and given Councillor Crisp's not being present or not being in the room and potentially not being able to physically sign the documents on Tuesday, and given the nature of them having to be done reasonably quickly, can I ask Council to consider nominating somebody else in absence of Councillor Crisp to be the secondary signature for the purposes of Tuesday's meeting?
Thanks very much, Simon. That's a very good point. I'll seek a nomination to be an alternative signatory. Councillor Elstone.
If you want.
Second.
So Councillor Elstone has moved that recommendation, seconded by Councillor Crisp. All those in favour? Thank you. Carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Director Rule. Now, Councillor Nichols.
Before you close, I'd just like to have on record my thanks for the staff for the work that's done in setting this building up, getting it ready and so on and so forth. It'll be a work in progress, and even when we've gone, this building will still be here. And it will function on for whether we have 25,000 or 30,000 people in the shire. So it's a wonderful building, and the only thing I would say is that if we had an official opening, that we invite councillors who were previously here when the building was purchased to be invited to that opening.
Very good suggestion. And don't scratch the table.
No.
Thank you. Meeting is closed.